All right, how's it going? So, welcome to another jam session solo edition or solos edition. Um, Actually, it should be solo or solos. I'm not really sure, but regardless, yesterday I was working on some PlayStreams.fm stuff, and turns out that for whatever reason, on this view within Ecamm Live, my loopback audio was muted. So, granted, there wasn't that much of the stream that was actually in this view, but I don't know. Just because it had that audio issue and it basically both affected the start of the stream and a good amount of like my follow up wrap up stuff, I just ended up scrapping that stream. So it's been deleted off of Twitter. It's been privatized on YouTube just so I can go back and kind of see what the stream felt like minus the audio issues. But yeah, I guess I'm just kind of like living and learning and checking this stuff out. So right now, I'm hoping that this stream goes okay. I see I do have audio in this view, and I hope that it is retained in all my other scenes. And I just wanted to do a quick little catch up about like what PlayStreams is and what I did yesterday, and then what I hope to accomplish on maybe a short stream right now. My kids are out to breakfast with their aunt and uncle who are in town, so it's buying me a little kind of play around time. So I figured I'd just work on the side project and get some stuff done. So yesterday, I was trying to follow up on building the plugin that I plan on using during these streams. And um, I was able to basically get the URL or the route that I wanted to have with the React component that I want to have nested in the page. The one thing I ran into was because Ecamm is trying to make sure that, you know, those sites or the widgets that they spin up within their app are secure, they force HTTPS. And because this project really isn't fully deployed as far as the app and the API and the site and everything, well, the site's up, but the other two haven't been deployed yet. They're just running locally. I was able to get the HTTPS certs working for the next apps by just adding the experimental HTTPS flag to the dev, to the scripts that spin up the apps. The piece that I didn't have was actually having the API secured under those same certs. So I quickly set that up last night, and now I have a full local secure dev environment that I can load the app and the site over HTTPS and also make HTTPS requests to the API. So that's where things are at right now. And lo and behold, I would love to show you just the first piece of what this whole play streams experience might be like. So, without further ado, this is the you see down here in my lower right hand corner. You'll see that I am currently listening to this like Panda Bear Cindy Lee track that came out earlier last month, like around October 15th, I think. Um, and this is currently what I'm listening to in Spotify. Um, this is pretty cool. I think I'll talk through some of the stuff. So let me actually move over into code view real quick and make sure I'm on the relevant page here for you. Cool. Yeah. So going into code, this stays up because I have it set as a, show in all scenes. So that's cool. And actually, I might change it up because I've just been repeating this track for a bit. So let me go over to Spotify and find some other tunes. I feel like Spotify's been changing some stuff up, at least with these like daily mixes. And maybe they changed the name I don't know if it was weekly mix 1, weekly mix 2, but I felt like these things didn't change daily. Like I could find maybe one of these ones that were solid and I could just like dip a toe and ride it out for the week, but it does seem like they're kind of changing it up almost daily, which is kind of good and bad. But this one seems fine. I've been in like a Wilco, built to spill, silver juice kind of mood. So we'll go with that one for now. And here, let me bump up the code editor real quick so you can see what I'm working with here. So don't need you. Don't need that. Kick it up a little bit more. So this is the account page, this like now page that I have set up. It's pretty straightforward. It basically queries the API to get a connection to Spotify for this username. It has some checks in here in case, you know, the next query isn't, you know, fully populated when the page loads or renders. And then it does some basic stuff out to the Spotify provider to set the current connection as well as the token. And this is the Spotify token that is used. And then so I have a series of these kind of like Spotify components. This one's like now playing. Here, and actually I'll get rid of that too for now. Which basically is just a kind of a consumer of the Spotify API. And then, so for instance, this one's just basically trying to catch the now playing and has a refetch interval of 10 seconds just to keep it kind of light for now. Probably will be tweaked later on. And, you know, it's just I'm using Chakra for my component UI stuff, still on the 2.0 version, but we'll probably look into, or I will look into upgrading version 3, but this is good for now. And it's a really straightforward component. So that is plumbed into this page. The one thing I did have to do for the Ecamm page specifically was, right now the site actually has a default background of just black. And I needed to make sure that both the HTML and the body were set to transparent, so that way it wouldn't, you know, block the stream because it sits over top of it. So because I'm using Chakra, I can basically just create this like little widget theme, and then pipe that into the page by just wrapping just this page in a Chakra provider that will then basically like kind of like go up and modify the top level theme. So I did that. I have this flex thing where right now I'm just setting it to fixed and having it consume the entire viewport. Originally, when I did this, I actually was using, I had it just set to like width and height with like 100 DVH and 100 DVW. It seems like whatever the browser that Ecamm has bundled in there, it's not supporting that. So I just ended up going fixed and using all the position fixed stuff just to kind of make sure that it fills the whole streaming window. And it basically just throws this guy down here in the lower right-hand corner. And so, yeah, that's where it's at. It's cool. It's working. You can see that tracks are changing. And also, basically, if you end up watching the stream, I am playing music over in Spotify. That's the whole point of PlayStreams, is basically a way to kind of listen to your own music, but at the same time allow other people to join in. So there is a jam link that is embedded in the stream. Or not really embedded in the stream, but You can find it on whatever platform you're accessing this on. Pretty sure I posted it to both to Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and that's that. So, where am I at now? The thing that I want to do is this widget's cool. Um, I want to, for one, I think it would be cool to make to allow some sort of like discovery from this widget to know that there is something streaming or that they can jump into something. So I'm not sure whether that is what's the question? I'm not sure whether that's a URL I should put in there or a QR code. I actually did play around with this library that can just like create a URL code or sorry, a QR code. Um, and seems pretty cool, but yeah, I don't, I'm not sure how discoverable QR codes are off of stream. So I'm not sure if there's a more interactive way. I mean, obviously having it just on the platform, like in the chat and like obviously in the description and some of that other stuff. The only thing that's tricky about that is it does require some sort of like almost like pre-meditation to create these play streams where I wanted to either have it so you can like make it beforehand or just kind of spin one up pre-stream. But I don't know. I guess we'll just let people deal with that. Um, so maybe there will eventually have to be some sort of, well, I want to do this anyways, but essentially like a now live status on PlayStreams. So I think the thing that makes sense right now is we have this widget. It's cool. It's playing along. Styling is not right because it doesn't seem like it's pulling in the top level theme stuff. And I think there's a way that I could basically extend the top level with the global overrides and get that so that these colors are showing up properly. But that's not the biggest thing I should work on right now. I can always go back and address that later. What I am going to do is, I guess, maybe start to set up the schema for basically being able to specify all the properties of what like a stream is. So I think let's get into that. I'm going to look at the code and I'm going to talk through some of the stuff I'm thinking about. So yeah, you can see here the way that I have it set up is we have this like base user. So this is really just like getting into the app. So you have email and password, which is the core things. I did put a name here just in case you ever want to go back and reference it, but chances are the thing that you're actually going to be doing is um, this is really the thing that kind of is the kind of like a counter profile. I'm thinking I always like it when apps allow for being able to switch between accounts, but it also, I guess it could be good or bad to necessarily have a unique login for each one of those accounts. The reason why I prefer this way is because like if you did want to, you could invite some other people. So we do have this concept of account members. And I don't know, I just always do this, or at least I've been wanting to always do this for the sites that I'm working on because I just think it gives you so much flexibility, like right out of the gate. Granted, it could come to bite me in the butt later on, but I guess if we get there, we get there. Hopefully, I'm still like jamming on this project and people are digging it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But so essentially, you have an account, and then this account then has like the username or like whatever the handle is for that social account. The account connections are actually the way that I'm kind of just like loosely managing these OAuth connections. So essentially, it has a type which right now I have really only one integration set up, which is of type Spotify. And for now, I'm just basically capturing the entire payload that comes back from that whole OAuth token exchange. This may or may not have to be more fleshed out. Um, it does make it to where you essentially could have multiple of the same type. Right now, I think based on the UI, it should only limit it to just like one Spotify, and then eventually, one Twitter, one YouTube, who knows, one Blue Sky, one Twitch. We'll see where we go with this, as well as potentially, in addition to Spotify, whether or not playlists will be kind of created over on Apple Music. I don't know. I'm just not sure where the discovery is, but and and what's the breakdown as far as like what services people are using to listen to tunes. I've been using Spotify, so that's why I'm leading in with this one first. And then before I ever had anything set up, I started thinking about, well, what is like the makeup of what's like PlayStreams going to have to support. So I think at the very least, this stream, and actually I realize now that right, I don't have this associated to an account, so I should probably associate that to an account. So let's do that now. So we're going to give it an account ID, and we'll associate it to an account. Cool. So makes sense. I want to make sure that from my account, I can associate that to a stream, and then, or I can see the streams, and then I can also see that. I also probably want to have some sort of maybe like live Boolean. Either that or a start time, and then maybe or maybe started at, ended at. Stream started at. Let's see. And stream. Well, it is a stream. It started at. Don't need a namespace. It's already on there. Ended at. And that'll be a date time as well. And I guess I could make the assumption that if there is no ended at, then it is live. Maybe at some point we'll want to do some sort of like calculated field on one of these, on like the API response, to pluck this instead of having to potentially query for it. But for now, I think that would be good. What else do I want to have? So I want, obviously it's going to have a name. I think having a description is cool. I think that'd be good enough for now. Obviously it's going to have some sort of like unique slug. Not sure whether I'll let someone edit this or not, but at the very least, I can just generate some random kind of GUID slug thing for that. And yeah, we want that to be unique across everything. I could see the possibility of maybe just having that unique, like based on account and stream. I don't know. We'll get to it, but this is good enough for now. We can expand this scheme out a little bit more. And then so once I have the stream, which is kind of this, what I imagine it being is like the landing page that someone would get to from the link that's being referenced in all these different stream points. It'll give some overview about what it is, basically like confirming that it is associated to that stream. And it would then also have playlists. So I started thinking about, like what's this playlist look like? It too would then inherit probably a name and a description and be associated to the stream, and then have a list of tracks as well as a URL. So, although, I guess in theory, a playlist should also maybe be unique. Not sure. Actually, I might go over here and post on Blue Sky here for real quick. Not sure if people have been getting into it, but it's definitely feeling pretty good compared to Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure broadcast actually. Uh-oh. Looks like my kids might be home. Um, which means I might have to wrap this up. But so yeah, so a stream, we have playlist. I think a playlist should then have a slug as well. The thing with the playlist is it obviously has tracks that will be appended onto it. Right now, I'm not 100% sure what the shape of those will be. I'm thinking that I'll probably just like use whatever like the source is. So in my case, it's going to be Spotify. It might just be like the raw Spotify data that lives in this JSON. I'll probably expand this out to make it a little bit more unique, so that way I can have almost like my own track representation. And then also, but I can also like reference the source and have maybe like the source data that it originated from, in case I ever want to reference it in the future. Again, this is like a scenario where event sourcing and basically being able to capture all this data and have it there would be good. But actually, I'm not gonna post this because I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep this stream going much longer. But yeah, the idea there is I need to make sure that it's in a format that I can basically reference stuff off of it. I can guarantee what it is. I'm gonna have to do a little comparison between potentially like Apple Music and Spotify to see what the commonalities are between different tracks and stuff across the two platforms. But gonna stick with just Spotify for now, and we'll be playing around with that. So essentially, I'll have a stream. Hopefully, I'll be able to tell whether it's live or not based on this started at, ended at timestamps. Streams will have potentially multiple playlists. So the idea is that you could publish this to either Spotify or Apple Music. But really, I mean, a stream will have like a single playlist associated with it, with then links out to multiple providers. So actually, maybe that's the move, and maybe I could have almost like a external playlist kind of thing. So like an external, like this model could be an external playlist, which would be, it'd have its ID. Uh, I've been doing this like external ID thing, which essentially is just like a unique CUID that I can use because I obviously don't want to just have just the IDs out there floating, but also for performance purposes, I do think actually just having the main int to kind of like filter and search on is probably better. I could probably have it be maybe just provider. Right now I'm just gonna have it a string, but and then URL, which is just again a string, and then playlist, which would just be a reference to the playlist that it originated from. And so that would have to then have a playlist ID, which would be int. So yeah, and then external playlist. Oh, my Twitter stream continue without Ryan numbers. Sure. My Twitter stream ended for some reason. Interesting. Also interesting that this one has a slightly different aspect ratio. This track that's playing right now compared to the other ones. So should be cool. So yeah, so we'll have external playlists that'll basically, actually, can I do this? Either Spotify or Apple Music. Um, and yeah, and tracks. I again need to flesh this out a little bit more. Should be cool. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. I need to head upstairs. My kids got home from their breakfast outing with their aunt and uncle who are in town. Give you a little update on where things are at then. So yeah, my goal with PlayStreams is to, basically make it so we have these kind of like archival playlists of the tracks that people are listening to while they're doing their stream. People can listen along live. People can listen to it in, combination with the recorded video just to kind of get a sense of the vibe that's going on. So I have the Ecamm widget, which you can see right here. That's just currently serving up the currently now playing from Spotify. The I'm gonna basically, I think next up is create the kind of like app pages for someone who's logged into playstreams.fm to create a fresh stream. From that stream, they will create a playlist. For now, I'll just have it creating the playlist over in Spotify. And then for every new track that is captured via the now playing widget, that will then get posted up and added as a track to the playlist. And then from that point, the play streams will then make that addition to the Spotify playlist. So there would be a live kind of like building playlist. Again, I'm not 100% sure whether I'll be able to just use that link directly and let people listen to that playlist as is, or whether I'll still have to kind of like initiate a Spotify jam that they can listen to in real time. Probably the benefits of the jam is that it's going to be like a one to what I'm listening to, but at the same time, it might be slightly like my stream might be slightly delayed compared to even like what the music is. So we probably will be listening to music like one to one, but my voice and references to potentially the tracks will be slightly trailing. But going to see how that goes. So next up, now that I have the widget thing, I will start working on fleshing out this schema that I was working on and start setting up some API endpoints for basically creating these, and then also create the page within the app that will let people basically initiate a stream and potentially update the data. Oh, one of the other things I think that would be cool and then applied to it would be having some sort of I think I need to add images. I think basically need to have like cover art. Whether that's cover art that's associated to the stream that then gets replicated down to the playlist and then ultimately used as the cover art on the playlist on, you know, Spotify or Apple Music, something like that. I'll get there. Not going to do it right now. Just going to focus on like the core data, and then we can add all those niceties later. So with that said, I'm hoping this stream went better than yesterday's. I hope all the audio is there. I know this is a short one. I'm going to try to do some longer ones during the week, but I figured I'd just sneak this one in while I was just kind of tinkering around, and also wanted to give an update on the on the widget thing. So that's cool. Yeah. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Hefner. I'm over on Blue Sky too at ryanhefner.com. YouTube, which is Ryan underscore Hefner. But actually, I need to figure out what's going on with that, because there's actually sometimes when I'll put in that URL and it'll like take me to this like other Ryan Hefner. So he definitely got the lockup on, I think, both Ryan Hefner and Ryan underscore Hefner early on, and now he somehow has both, but I also have one, so I'm not 100% sure. And also kind of trying out Twitch, so I'm Ryan Hefner over on Twitch, so see how that goes. I'm not sure how that'll turn out, but doing it, trying it out, playing around. And speaking of playing, you can also listen to my podcast, allplay.fm. And that's just where I share kind of some short, quick updates on either what I'm working on or what I'm thinking about. So check all that stuff out. Hope this is somewhat entertaining and enjoying and having some fun with this. It's definitely kind of fun to just share this stuff. I feel like it's kind of like packaging a little bit of sawdust of what's going through it. Definitely makes it a little bit longer to build this stuff because I'm talking about stuff, but at the same time, sometimes even just getting it out of my head and saying it live helps solidify it for me too. So I hope this is enjoyable for you. I'm trying to make it enjoyable for me, and hopefully those two pair up. So with that, I'm out. Have a great one, and talk to you later.